I feel like this should be a sponsored video because I was cleaning up the background, my room, which is just a wreck, and I came across this thing. So what this is, it's called a, this has nothing to do with the video, by the way, I'm just deflecting here, but it's called a Cutie Polluti, and have you ever heard of like that water, or that death water, whatever, it's like canned water. Every sculpture you buy, which obviously these are handmade, they donate it to helping clean up pollution in the ocean, trash, things like that. But that was in the background, and I was like, I want to show our YouTube family this, but that's not the point of today's video. I know that I'm looking really rough. I'm currently packing to leave right now. You're probably wondering, like, first off, why is this not an ASMR? And second off, why do you look like you got beat up? I've been biting my lip for like 3 days. I had a wonderful Christmas. I hope you did too. And I'm just going to be briefly, I'd love to know what that sound is. Everybody in the house is scrambling. Like my sister-in-law is here. Like everybody's just scrambling to pack. We're leaving here in an hour. I want to ask you a question if you've been with our family for a long time, and if you haven't, welcome. I will be back. My voice sounds raspy. There's reasons for all of this. But if you've been with our family for a long time, I want to ask you something. You remember back in 2017, 16, 15, I used to post almost every single day of our lives, like just always posting, always coming up with new ideas, new role plays, everything, just so amazing. And then in 2017, I had a great year. 2018 was okay. And then 2019 and 20, and then this year, it's just kind of been really repetitive and sparse. And I haven't been posting on a schedule at all. I've started multiple projects I couldn't keep up on. Remember Patreon, remember OF, remember like the audios that I was coming up with. Do you remember those? And you remember how I kind of just like went downhill, even though my success was going uphill. Like, you know, I was wondering if you remembered that. And if you did, do you know why? Because if you remember, I was suffering really bad the past couple years, but obviously this year has been the peak of suffering, and I finally figured out why, and I'm going to discuss that with you now. Funny enough, I am wearing a low-cut shirt, which does go with this. I had to get my fake nails off, so don't worry, they'll be back. What is that? The girl in Terminator, they always say that she has man hands. I feel like I look like I have man hands right now, which is perfect. It doesn't matter. Even though I brought it up, I am suffering from breast implant illness. Yes, you may have heard of this illness already by another ASMR artist, and I don't know if she wants me to bring her name up or not, but she was public with it. Her name's Isabel. It always reminds me of Animal Crossing. But yes, I am suffering from breast implant illness. And I'm going to just hurry up and give you a brief explanation of what happened. I'm going to tell you a little bit of what's going to happen. My husband's like taking down holiday decorations when we're supposed to be fucking packing, like, and I'm filming, so it's kind of like a double negative here. So, this all happened 2 years ago, actually, but the worst of it happened last year. So I got my first set of breast implants in 2017. And if you guys remember, I went to a really botched, shitty surgeon. His name was Dr. Robert Luton in Altoona, Pennsylvania. He did not consider that I have tuberous breasts, which tuberous breasts means that my boobs naturally are really, not anymore, they stretch the tissue, but are really pointy and they're really hard. So someone's natural breasts you would feel would be very soft and supple and things like that. Mine were really hard and lumpy and pointy. So that's called tuberous breast. Most women over 50 or those who go through menopause get them because as you age, you know, the tissue hardens, things like that. But some women get them, you know, and I ended up getting them whenever I was like a kid. So it's just a deformity, they call it, for somebody my age or our age. So after my first set of implants, it wasn't even 6 hours after that I developed a hematoma, which is essentially a blood clot that's not in the veins, it's more in the skin, I think. Please, I'm not a medical whatever. It happened on my right breast, actually, and you can actually see the scar. You probably can't, but there's a scar right here and up here where it's covered, where they had to cut it out and like squeeze it to get the blood out and everything. I did almost die from that surgery. It was tons of complications. I was in the hospital 3 days after, and then I stayed another week because the pain was so strong. that my heart rate was so high, nobody could keep it down even with the strongest pain medications. I really suffered from that, but I did heal, and I had those implants, and I had them until February of 2020. Now, the reason that I went back for a second surgery is because of the complications that arose from my first set of implants, which is called capsular contracture. I ended up developing stage 4 capsular contracture in my right breast, which is where the hematoma is, which, funny enough, is a complication of hematoma with breast implant surgery. And just follow along. I promise it's all leads into connecting. I do like girls, if you got that one. But so my left breast, which, yeah, I know this video is demonetized instantly, but I kind of need to make back the money, so I'm going to try to monetize it. And if you want to buy me a coffee, by the way, my PayPal link's down below. You're going to learn how much I spent on these surgeries, and then you're going to learn the lesson that I learned with these surgeries. But sometimes, you know, off topic, we need to struggle and we need to fuck up as much as we can to finally be told, like, hey, you're doing pretty bad. So anyway, I developed stage 3 and 4 capsular contracture. Capsular contracture is where, so you put a foreign object in the body either attaches to it. Like, for example, I had a tubal ligation. Tubal ligation, they cut my tubes, so I can't have kids anymore. So I can, like, freely do the deed. They cut my tubes, and, you know, the body attaches it to it, everything. But then there's implants. You put, you know, big capsules in your body, then the body forms a capsule around it. And what that's doing is it's protecting the body. Your body's essentially protecting you by forming a foreign body, like forming a capsule around the foreign body to make sure it doesn't hurt you. But the problem with that is, as that happens, then breast implant illness occurs. Now, there's so much to talk about here. I'm trying to just get to it. But breast implant illness was never even a thing, okay? It always was real. It was very real. But the FDA hid it. If you look, there's thousands, at this point, millions of women who suffer from it. And it was only back in, I think, June, and then in October or November that they finalized it, that the FDA now has a black box warning on breast implants. So what that means is, if you smoke cigarettes, you see on a pack of cigarettes, it has a warning that says, you know, Surgeon General's warning, like, can cause cancer, you know, this and that, overusage. Now breast implant illness has that, and the complications of breast implant illness or breast implants are cancer, fatigue, brain fog, vertigo, tons of autoimmune diseases like lupus, or I can't think of the other one, something yeah, so now that's happening. Where was I even going with this? This is why I stopped talking. So long story short, stage 3 and 4 capsular contracture. This year, or last year in February, my breasts were so painful to the point that I was like, I need to switch these out. I need to get new ones. I can afford it now. I couldn't afford it in my first surgery. I paid $5,000 for my first set of implants. Last year, I decided to go in and, you know, fix them all up and, you know, start feeling better about myself. Be like, you know, I don't want these saline implants. So my first set, saline dual plane. They put them half under the muscle, half over the muscle. Caused capsular contracture. My new surgeon, he was a really sweet man. I'm no longer going to him. I don't want anything to do with him. He suggested putting them under the muscle because it prevents capsular contracture and it's a lot softer, more natural feeling, everything like that. But he did fail to tell me that whenever you put breast implants under the muscle, they then adhere to your chest wall. So here I am going into surgery, a $13,000 surgery. Come for me later. I know. $13,000. Imagine that. I know everybody knows whether you have lots of money or no money. $13,000 is a very large amount of money, no matter how we look at it. So I spent $13,000 to go in. It was a brilliant surgery, nothing like my first one. It went amazing. There were no complications. I healed so well. I was up and moving in 2 days. I was like a new person. But 4 days after that surgery, whether I healed well or not, I started developing these crazy symptoms. First of all, I started developing what's called esophageal spasms. Now, if you don't know what that is, my voice is very raspy. I quit smoking almost 2 months ago, and I'm still suffering, but Esophageal spasms is essentially where the bottom of your esophagus starts to cramp up like a Charlie horse, and it does it in contractions. And most people say it feels like a heart attack. So here I am, excuse me, it was 4 days after my surgery. I'm eating a Subway sandwich, and all of a sudden I start feeling these chest pains. I'm like, I'm having a fucking heart attack from surgery. I start freaking out. When I get anxiety, I start going crazy, and I drove down to the hospital, I remember, and I sat in front of the hospital, and I'm like, if I pass out, they'll find me there. And this all ties in, I promise. So that was the first symptom. It goes away after so long, after like 20, 30 minutes. Some, it lasts for hours, and I've had those episodes throughout the year. So that was the first symptom I started experiencing. Way back in 2017, before that, with my first set of implants, I've never had heart problems. Now, heart disease does run in my family. It's a very common, everybody in my family has died from heart disease, but I'm young yet. Like, I'm only 30. Bo Burnham, no. Oh my God, by the way, my husband bought me a Bo Burnham cutout, life-size cutout for Christmas, and I swoon. Okay, so anyway, heart palpitations. Severe, very severe, to the point that in the past year, I ended up in the psych ward this year over it. Like I just said, when I have anxiety really bad, I get real scared. Brain fog. You guys remember my brain fog episode back in 2017? That's another symptom that started. And when I say brain fog, I mean that I can't make out the details in your face. Started experiencing brain fog. Joint pain is the third one. These are all, which I'm sure you know, main symptoms of breast implant illness. So joint pain. My knees have never been bad. Now, I'm not the most active person in the bunch, in the world, but at the same time, I'm only 30. I'm relatively thin. I'm okay. I'm what they call skinny fat, which, please, I'm not commenting on big or small bodies. I'm saying that I have a high fat index for a thin person is what I'm saying. But I'm healthy. I am healthy, right? Apparently. Yeah, so I started getting joint pain. My arms are always sore for some reason. I'm like, oof. My knees this year alone, I'm like, you know what? Something's going on with my knees. I'm like, am I gonna have bad knees like my grandma? Like, I'm only this age. Vertigo. So I've had, as many of you know, which this is really emotional for me because I'm getting into it. I've had a brain MRI this year because I could not see. Now, I'm going to be doing a whole tell-all after the surgery and everything. I'm documenting everything. We're leaving in like 3 hours. I could not see this year for like months, okay? I couldn't see, everything was always spinning all the time. And I've been to multiple doctors, I've been to multiple specialists. I've been to multiple scans and MRIs and ultrasounds and scopes. And I've had over 50, tubes of blood taken on me, and it's really difficult. I have blood in my urine, these insane symptoms you would never, none of it ties into anything. There's nothing I'm being diagnosed with. I've had all of the symptoms of lupus. My mother has lupus. My abusive mother has lupus. But nobody in our family has lupus. She got it, but I have no lupus. I don't have any autoimmune diseases, but I'm suffering from all of the symptoms of autoimmune disease. Brain fog and vertigo have been the #1 excruciating symptom besides panic and anxiety. Now, I know a lot of you are probably thinking, what do you mean panic and anxiety? Like, everybody suffers from panic and anxiety. Let me tell you something, okay? I've suffered with anxiety and depression. They call it black depression because you feel like the world is just black. It's you can't see anything. My pap suffered from it, but I've managed my depression all my life. I know my symptoms. I know my episodes. This year, I ended up in the psych ward because I tried to unalive myself, because I felt like I was going to die every single day of my life for some reason. All of a sudden, I started getting in really, really bad anxiety and panic episodes. And I tried telling, my husband, I'm like, hey, I feel like I'm dying. Something's happening. My heart rate just kept going up and up and up and up and up. And I'm telling you right now, like, when you go into a panic attack, your heart rate goes up and then it goes down. For me, it stayed at a steady 120, and the highest I think it was in a whole week was like 160, and it didn't go down. It stayed that way for 7 days. So nobody was like listening to me at the time, and I didn't want to come and complain on here like I used to do, because whenever I would feel bad, I was like, oh, I'll go complain to my YouTube family. So instead, I one day woke up, I was like, I have another doctor's appointment out of the probably 8 that I've had. I visited the ER every single day for like well, this was happening beforehand. So before that, probably every day for like a week and a half, I went for 8, 9, 10, 11 days straight, to the point where when I went in, they were like, are you okay? Is something else going on? So the last time I went into the ER, or I'm sorry, it was the day before I went, and the next day I had a doctor's appointment scheduled. It was a follow-up. I want to thank that my family doctor, and I want to also thank who now is my therapist. I doubt he's watching this, but I know he saw my channel before, seen it, whatever. These men helped save my life. I wouldn't say obviously they do, but I am so grateful for them. My therapist especially, if he sees this, he knows who he is, but probably not. He tried for an hour, as well as my doctor, to talk me out of going into the psych ward, to try to tell me that I am not crazy and like I'm just having a real bad time in my life and I'm feeling alone and isolated. But that's not the case. Something was really going on in my body and nobody could figure it out. So much blood work, so many CT scans. And here's the thing about CT scans is I don't have any veins, and many of you know I'm a recovering addict, but I never was an IV user. And that's why I always have to justify that, because everybody's like, well, you were an addict, so you probably have no veins. It's like, no, I never was an IV user, but I have no veins. That's why, that's why I was never an IV user, because I couldn't put it anywhere anyway. I'm going crazy, guys. So they have to go in your hands. So anytime I would have a CT scan with contrast, they would have to put it in my hand, which any smart fucking RN or any doctor in the fucking world would tell you, no, you're not actually supposed to put contrast in your hands unless you're an elderly person and there truly is nowhere to put it. They have machines that can come and put IVs in your hands, which, thank you to Scott, which I'm going to send this video to. He is a nurse down at Conemaugh Hospital, which that fucking place is cursed. Sorry, there's a weird car going on my road. And he sat with me for like a half hour and he found a vein after poking me, and I have little, what do they call them? Vein scars or something. It's like scarring in my veins, but he got it, and he was the sweetest man in the world, and he sat with me and he held my hand, and he was just so great. And there are kind people in this world, but let me get to the point. All the CT scans I had came back positive. They were, or negative for anything. Like they were fine. They were fine. I was doing fine. Okay. So I went into the psych ward and I stayed a week, and that was the worst fucking experience of my entire life. One that I don't want to talk about right now. That's why I thank my therapist, because at that time I thought about unaliving myself in the psych ward, but my therapist, who at the time wasn't, who was just somebody who came to visited me for an hour, and he sat with me, and I felt, you know, connected, and I was like, thank you. So anyway, I thought I was going to die that whole week, because my heart rate would not go down. They gave me Seroquel, they gave me all these medications, nothing was working. Got out of the psych ward in the beginning of July, and I had to come home and try to just like act like things were normal, and everybody knew that it wasn't normal. And for the first week after that, my body all of a sudden, I have oh, that's another thing I got diagnosed with this year. I'm serious, like this is crazy talking about this at all to you guys, but I want you to know what's going on with me. My back, I have all of a sudden in a year's span have osteoarthritis, degenerative disc disease, I have bulging discs, I have spinal stenosis, I have scoliosis of the spine. This has happened to me in a year. I had an MRI the year before and there was nothing wrong. And now all of a sudden this year, my lower back, I have weight in the front, my lower back is destroyed. I am suffering every single day of my fucking life, okay? These Christmas decorations being moved. Let's see what else is going on. So basically what I'm saying is this whole year, I have been going through the worst mental strain I have ever been through in my entire life. Excuse me. I am traumatized. Literally, I am traumatized, I know. No, I'm not talking about these. I'm talking about the doctor experiences I've had this year. I am traumatized. I am in therapy right now, which I can't go back for 2 weeks, which just sucks, but I like depend on him, which he probably thinks I'm nuts because like I'm like, oh, therapy. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful for my counselor. I'm grateful for everybody. I'm grateful for my sister-in-law. But what I'm saying is the people who have had to deal with me the past year, thank you. So finally, here we are. I'm having multiple panic attacks getting out of the psych ward. Life is not the same. I honestly thought I had early on stage dementia and Alzheimer's because I couldn't remember where I was at any time. I'd just be sitting there and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, where the fuck am I? I didn't know the surroundings of my own house. I didn't know who my husband was anymore. I would get sick in my stomach any single time I would think of anything. I'd be like, I have to give Satori a shower tonight. My stomach would just get into knots, like something bad was really gonna happen. And it stayed this way until October. And I hadn't filmed for 2 months at that point, and things were just really, really bad. And I was sitting out on the porch of my house, and the day before that, it was really bad because I was just not remembering where I was. And I remember scrolling through the phone and there was a family member. I don't remember your name, but I am so grateful for you. I don't remember your name and I'm really sorry. But like, I was told, have you ever thought it might be your breast implants that are making you feel this way? And I'm trying not to like get emotional. I'm trying to like laugh it off. Okay, once I feel it coming on, I try to laugh it off. And I remember I'm like, no, what are you fucking talking about? I had people bring this up to me before, and my surgeon said that breast implant illness doesn't exist, right? So why would I be suffering from that? So just being desperate and psycho like I am, I decided to start searching it up because I had nothing to do and I had to like make my brain think of something else other than dying. So I was like looking up all these groups, and I entered 2 of them. One was breast implant illness and recovery group. The other one was breast implant illness by Nicole, which is, these groups are famous now. Like they were mentioned in Michelle Visage's, can't pronounce her last name, documentary called Explant, which I really highly recommend our family go and watch. And it all clicked, and I remember like reading all of these symptoms that these women, like millions and millions and millions of fucking women, which you can find the information online. Now the groups only have hundreds of thousands of them, but the rest of them, there's documents. And I remember reading the symptoms and I was like, what? So I started searching on YouTube, and I remember watching this one girl and she was talking, and when she was talking, it was like, I heard her and I didn't feel so alone anymore. And I was like, holy fucking shit. My breast implants are making me sick. Now, here's the funny thing, why I'm getting emotional. It's like, you're probably looking at me right now and you're like, you put these in your fucking body, you stupid, like, potato. And I would be like, yeah, you're absolutely right. But here's the thing, like growing up, I've suffered from, and no, this isn't me like blaming or anything or like putting blame on anything. I've suffered with body dysmorphia and insecurity, and even whenever I was being, trigger warning, I remember covering my body because even though I was being, you know, I remember saying to myself, my boobs are ugly. I don't want him to see and judge me, even though he's raping me. Like, I don't want that. So I would even cover myself up because I hated my chest so bad growing up that even whenever those things were occurring, I still had to, you know, look good for my, so there's that. And finally, you know, being a junkie and being poor all my life, and then you come into money on YouTube and you're like, oh, I can fix this now. And there was one specific person, if our old family members remember, which he's a great person, he's still a friend of mine and everything like that, and he suggested I go and get implants, and I did. And then I came into even more money, and I said, you know what? Well, why not stop there? Let's go get some lip injections. Let's go get some Botox, which, by the way, another symptom of my breast implant illness, my immune system is now attacking my Botox. So you can see all the lines in my forehead now, because any foreign body, my lips only last like a month. My forehead doesn't last at all because my body's constantly attacking itself all the time. I'm exhausted every single day of my fucking life. I sleep all day. I sleep 14 hours a day. I can't get out of bed most days. I am suffering, family. So here I am to tell you 24 minutes in that I am suffering from breast implant illness, and I am currently packing because, thank you, Dr. Peter Colts in Toledo, Ohio. Thank you so much for hearing my story and taking me on this soon. And he's gonna be taking out my implants. Now, the reason that this is such a big thing and I'm like, oh, I'm leaving, is because explant surgery is nothing like implant surgery. So implant surgery, you just pop them in. Explant surgery, he has to literally scrape it off my chest wall, because what surgeons fail to tell their patients is, hey, yeah, you're totally fine. We can put these under the muscle and everything, and they'll be more natural. But your body is then going to make the capsule attached to your chest, and somebody's going to have to cut that shit out and then peel it. And there's lots of risks with the surgery, like puncturing a lung or, you know, cutting the heart open or something like that. But you know what? I thought to myself, this is so much better than costochondritis, which is what I suffer from every single day. So costochondritis I was diagnosed with, I forgot to tell you before I went into the psych ward because of all the palpitations. My chest wall under my ribs is constantly in pain to the point where I can't take a deep breath. I have not been able to breathe. I quit smoking almost 2 months ago. My voice is raspy. I can't fucking breathe. And you know what? Everybody's like, oh, well, you might have, you know, COPD, or like you might have something with your pulmonary. No, I'm fine. Like, I'm fine, family. My blood work says I'm fine. My CTs say I'm fine. My MRIs say I'm fine. My scopes of my bladder that my doctor said I might have cancer with, they say I'm fine. I mean, all the symptoms of menopause, like hot sweats, my thyroid's fine. So I'm fine, right? Like, I'm fine, family, right? Like, no, I'm not. I'm not. So anybody who thinks this fucking shit's a joke, do some research, because breast implant illness is very fucking real. And in this year of 2021, the amount of women explanting has doubled from the amount of women around the world implanting. So if you're watching this, family, and I have ever influenced you or helped you or done something for your life, let me do something for you here and tell you, like, end the video now because I really got to pack and I'm a half hour now. Not all women who go and get breast implants are going to suffer. This doesn't affect every single person. Everybody's different. Our gene makeup, our, you know, DNA, things like that, it's all different, okay? But let me tell you, your surgeon's not going to tell you about breast implant illness. That's the thing. So, you know, next time you're like, you know what, I hate my chest, I hate this and that, just remember there's people like me and the millions of women who went and did this to ourselves. And if I could show you on camera, which I will be showing on like Twitter and Facebook after I'm done, the scars that are going to be all over my chest wall. Let's see, can I show under here? Yeah, the scar line that I have under here for the rest of my life. It's not worth it, and it's not going to make it better. And ultimately, you might have problems. And if you do have problems, let me tell you something. Feeling like you want to unalive yourself, feeling like you can't love anybody around you because your mental state is so skewed. You know what? That's probably where the word hell came from, is like the mental suffering some people go through. I was so scared to pull the thing. Yet I never wanted to unalive myself more than I did my entire life. It was a really scary feeling, and it didn't go away this time. So women out there, trans women, anybody, please don't go get breast implants. Please don't put yourself what I put myself through, okay? Please. There's so much more to the story, and I really gotta go. But please don't do this to yourself, please. I'm currently going in for a $17,000 surgery. So let's do the math, shall we? 7 plus 3, 13, 17. We're at $35,000. Yes, I know. I spent $35,000 trying to look a certain way. And guess what? All of that money that I spent hasn't made me accept myself or love myself or think I'm beautiful at all. None of that money did. None of the surgeries did. Nothing did. Nothing made me think, hey, you are beautiful, you're a good person. Nothing made me feel better about myself. In fact, it's making it worse. And I'm currently, like I said, in therapy. Things from June are slowly getting better. But this year has been so bad. And what I'm trying to say, I think is something that's gonna make me laugh. Bo Burnham cut out. Funny. Breathe. I think my husband's coming up here. So this year has been really, really bad. And I just want to get on here for a minute and try to tell you why I've been hiding all of this from you. you guys know that I'm a very open person. I used to share everything online, everything, like from what I'm fucking eating. And then many of you were like, why don't you post anything anymore? Like, you've stopped posting your family, you've stopped posting pictures of your hair or something when you get it done, or like when you're all dressed up. You've stopped everything. And this year, you know I get into drama. Like I'm feisty, what's the word? Like, I'm naive, I'm crazy, I'm hard to deal with, I'm hard to handle for everybody. It's like everybody seems to miss that Karuna or Sarah, and I haven't been that person because I've been really sick, family. I've been really sick, and sometimes chronic illness, I suffer with my back, can't be seen on an MRI, or it can't be seen on a CT scan, and sometimes people just see it by looking at somebody they watch all the time or they see all the time, and it's really difficult. So right now I'm currently packing. Like I said, my background, I started this video off showing you my polluted turtle. So I'm going to continue packing, and we're gonna go head out. We have a 5-hour drive to Ohio. I'm gonna be staying until the 28th. My surgery's tomorrow morning at 11:45 a.m. And I promised you guys this video, but even me promising something, I can't stick to it. That's one thing I can always keep with myself, is I can't stick to promises. But I want to let you know that I have high hopes that I'm going to feel better, and I have high hopes that things are going to get better. But for now, I need to back away from YouTube. I need to back away from anybody in my life. I need to back away, and I need to take time for me, and I need to take time to heal. And that's not me saying like, oh, like I need to back away from you guys, like I don't want to think about you guys anymore. That's not it at all. It's me just saying that it's really hard to film anymore. I thank GB ASMR and her husband or partner Ben, because they have helped me keep up the money flow on YouTube with getting me sponsors. You guys might have noticed so many brand deals and videos recently, and it's because I have to pay back the shit show that I put myself in getting these things in and getting all these surgeries. So I'm so grateful to Ben and GB for that, and for being my friends, of course. All of the ASMR creators who have been there for me, Rach ASMR, Minx Laura, like all of the people. There's so many people that have been there for me that I can't even think of off the bat. Graham from Twitter, on Darian ASMR, like there's so many, and if I'm not like bringing up your names, like there's probably people so close, like Tippy Tappy, Katie ASMR. You guys have been nothing but amazing to me. Shortbread, like you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for always being there for me. Shanny, there's so many people, and then there's of course the ASMR artist who sat with me, which I don't know if she wants to be named because I know she's suffering too, but who sat with me the day I went to the psych ward to make sure I wouldn't die, and sat on FaceTime with me. Please, if you're watching this, comment, because I will pin it, and I don't know if you want your name said. That's why I haven't said it. So with that being said, I just need to take time to heal, to get back to myself, and to be the Karuna for you guys that you sleep to and love and care about, or hate. Even, it's hard to hate me right now because you're like, I don't know if I should feel bad for her or like wish her dead again. Like, I don't think I want, you know what I mean? So thank you so much if you've made it this far in the video. I know this is meant to be an ASMR channel. I have 2 videos with sponsors on them that still need posted, and I promise, I hope, I'm not promising anything because we know Karuna and our promises, but things are going to get better next year, and nothing can be as bad as this year. So that's one thing my therapist said is, even though, this year has been, I like just sneezed and like snot came out of my nose. Even though this year has been the worst year of my life, it means that, things can only go up from here. So it's going to get better. And I don't care that I'm getting rid of these things. Like, they have been nothing but trouble. They look great in photos. That's grand, but my posture's destroyed. I'm constantly in pain, and I constantly feel like I'm gonna die. That's what's going on with me, family. If you want to buy me a coffee, I'd be really grateful. If you can just send some nice comments down below, and if I do die, you guys have over like almost 2,000 videos for yourselves. I think 1,500. Things are gonna be okay. So I love you guys, like I said, as I do. If nobody has told you that they loved you today, I want you to know, whether I make it past the surgery or I don't, that I love you with all of my person and all of me. And I always will, whether, you know, anything. And this will always be your safe space to come. This will always be your safe space and your place to relax and your place to talk and your place to vent, no matter what happens to me, no matter what. My goal is to come back here in a month, and I aim for that. And just know, no matter what though, that you are loved. This is your safe space. I keep saying that. And just remember me, okay? Remember me in case something happens. So I'm gonna go get going, and you can follow my Instagram. It'll be in the description. So I hope you had a great holiday and have a safe, happy new year, and I will see you guys in February 2022. Bye, family.